everybody says they want freedom. Everybody says they want a lot of money. But if you actually take a look at what people are doing, they are systematically, step by step, doing every single thing they possibly can to destroy any chances of ever being free or having a decent amount of money. Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm sitting here a little bit sick. That's why I got the cool robe. I'm sitting here and I've been thinking for the past, I don't know, hour, 2 hours, and like literally what I've been doing is I have a few bucks here. I've just been sitting here, just going like this, just checking it out, just thinking about what I'm spending this money on, just going back, gathering it together, and just doing it again. And the reason I'm doing this is not to show off or anything. And if it was to show off, I would have gone to the bank and got the rest of the money I have. As opposed to just this. There's a few $1,000s right here. And I'm aware that it's not a lot of money. So trust me, it's not to show off. But if you guys have been following me for a while, you know that I went bankrupt relatively recently. I lost my house, I lost my business, and I tumbled out of control into like a deep depression type thing, right? And I lost everything. So I've been sitting here, and this is a small amount of what I've made over the past month, 2 months, as I've been focusing more and more on the acquisition of resources. This resource being money. Because for my dreams, they happen to require a shit ton of money. So the thing is, I'm sitting here, and again, it's not to show off, it's thinking about what I'm spending this on. So I want to ask you a question. If you were sitting here, and you had a few bucks, and you were going like this, what is it that you would be spending it on? Right? I want you to think about that. Because most people, when they look at money, or an amount that they've just gotten, or a paycheck that comes in, what they do is they sit there and they go, what can I buy with this, right? They sit there and they go, I could get a nice pair of shoes. I could buy a turbo for my car. I could take a vacation. I could take my girl out somewhere extremely expensive and get a hotel and do this and do that, or, you know, have a big night out in the town. And I'm going to buy drinks for everybody and, you know, whatever, or I'm going to buy a new video game, or whatever the hell, rims for your car, whatever the fuck people are going to buy with their money. Meanwhile, people like myself look at this money and go, well, this could buy that, right? Again, this is not much, I'm aware. This could buy that, right? This could buy me, technically this could buy me a decent car, right? Or a truck for the winter, or new tires, or this, that, and the other, right? But someone like me looks at this, and I look at this as the money that is buying my freedom. Now, I want you to take a moment and forget about the fact that this is called money, okay? I want you to start to think about a different paradigm in which this is called freedom units, okay? What I mean by that is that people with a lot of money have a shit ton of freedom, right? Non-negotiable in our society, our resource gathering society. When you have gathered enough of a certain type of resource, this society being money, I'm sorry, I'm very sick, just bear with me. In our society, when you've gathered enough resources being money, you gain a lot of freedom. What you want to do when you have this kind of money is, if I were to spend this, this is known as my taw, okay? In the game of marbles, you have a taw, which is a marble that you throw or roll, and you can knock the other marbles around. Well, if you don't have a taw, you're never going to be able to play the game of marbles, right? So I could look at this as part of my taw. Now, if you have no taw, and you've got nothing in your hand, what are you going to play the game of marbles with? What are you going to play the game of life with? You're not going to be able to play it with anything, because you have no taw. You have no resource of which you can expend to play the game. Now, what is the game that I'm talking about? Most people buy liabilities. Okay, Robert Kiyosaki talks about this a lot in his book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, which I would encourage you guys to check out. Now, what most people would do with this money, they would go out and they would spend it on something that does not bring them more money. Okay, there's really only two ways to spend your money in life. It's liabilities or assets. An asset, quite simply, is something that makes you money, being real estate that you've rented out, or stocks, bonds, or investing in a company, which is exactly where this money's going, by the way. It's a startup company that I happen to believe in, that I'm going to be investing in. Sorry, lost my train of thought. So, asset acquisition is what you want to be spending your money on. If you want freedom. If you want nice rims and nice cars and crazy shit at a young age, go and do that too. But it keeps you trapped. It keeps you trapped in the rat race, right? Running in circles and not really getting anywhere. Busting your ass, working hard, spending your money. Most people make this and then they spend this, or a little bit more depending on credit cards. Then they make this and they spend the same amount. It's how most people live their lives. And they live this quietly until they trip. And when they trip is when they lose everything. Pretty much speaking as one of them right now, okay? So, most people are buying liabilities, which is, cars, boats, houses, things that do not make them money, stuff that sucks their money out. A house, I would argue, is not an asset due to the fact that you have to spend money to upkeep it. You have to cut the grass, you have to take care of the electricity, the water bill. If something breaks, you have to replace it. Your house is a liability. It is sucking your money from you. Yes, it can be sold, and in a good market, maybe you've made some money, but if you take a look at the amount that you've spent on it during that time, a lot of times you've actually lost money. So, what I want to talk to you guys about is about changing your perception and forgetting about the fact that this is money, and instead thinking of it as a freedom unit, okay? So right now I have I can't even talk, I'm so sick. So right now, I have a few freedom units, right? I have a few thousand freedom units right here. And this is, like I said, a small amount of what I've made over the past few months as I'm focusing more and more on building assets so that I can basically build the life of my dreams. So, if I have a few thousand freedom units, how can I put these to work for me? So, as I've made money over the time and such, I am still driving the same truck that is falling apart that I showed in another video of mine, which is like the gas tank is held up by a sock. Gas tank is held up by a sock because it's not actually attached. I had a sock when this let go and I was filling up at a gas station, took off my sock and tied that up. I'm still sitting on the same couch, which I would love to replace because it's got stains all over it and whatnot. I am still wearing the same clothes. I still have all the same stuff that I had back when I didn't have several $1,000s. Because if I spend it on that kinds of stuff, it does nothing for me. All right, it makes me look nice, and a lot of people, they spend their money basically buying the stuff that makes it look like they have money, which keeps them never having money. So I want you to think for a moment, instead of buying those shoes, how can you put this to work for you? So let's say, to make this extremely simple, because I'm not going to get into like an investment type video on here, because it's not really what I do, it's just I share my thoughts on this channel. So what is the best way to make this make you money? So if I invest this into this business that I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be getting a small amount of equity within this business. Now, I happen to really believe in the idea of the person who I am investing with. He has the right connections. He's gone to school for business. He's been an entrepreneur for a while. He owns the 4th largest company in his niche in Connecticut right now. He's been in business for over 6 years. He has flourished to the point of where he's been able to build this second business. And this second business has national implications as well as possible international. He is speaking with many different contacts. I can't give away too much because I currently signed a non-disclosure agreement because this company is about 2 weeks old. And I get technically get in a lot of legal trouble. But he has the right contacts. He is in the right circles of influence. And he has some very interesting people backing his endeavor. So for me, I met with him and I heard about his ideas and how he's actually going to go about acquiring the market share that he's going after, as well as what he's going to be doing in terms of marketing and how he's going to spread from state to state and possibly internationally. Now, for me, I personally know somebody who has many contacts in China. So if he goes to go over to China with this endeavor, I can just make a call and he can get by a lot of the red tape. That's why networking is so important. So instead of getting new shoes, instead of going out and looking nice and fly and all that shit, I am instead going to put my money to go work for me, as if every dollar that I'm carrying is a little employee who I'm going to go send off to make me money. So by buying equity in this business, quarterly I'm going to be getting a check for my amount of dividends from the company. And due to his business plan, which I have checked out quite thoroughly, I believe that the market, that the equity in his business is just going to grow, and I believe it could hit an exponential amount, an exponential growth, probably within about 2 years as this idea catches on because of the contacts that he has. Now, the whole point of this video is that as I am slowly building myself back up, I want you guys to take a moment and think about something. And again, I'm not saying I have life right, okay? I don't. I'm learning just like all of you. But I would implore you to take a moment and think about the fact that most people say that they want to live the good life. They want to have a lot of money. They want to have a lot of freedom. They want to have nice things. But the way that they go about it is they go after the nice things first. They don't understand that a lot of the people who are self-made, okay, actually pretty much all of the people who are self-made, instead of buying liabilities, they buy assets. They buy assets first, and the assets feed into the income column, all right, of what they have. If you ever check out Robert Kiyosaki's quadrants, very good stuff. They buy assets first. They don't buy liabilities. They don't buy nice stuff. They buy the stuff that technically keeps them looking like they're not too well off. Maybe they have a suit or something for business, kind of like I do, but they don't buy the crazy nice stuff. They buy the stuff that makes them money. The equity in the businesses, the assets, the paper assets, which are a little shaky nowadays, so I would caution you against the stock market currently. But real estate, or even cars to flip, or whatever you're going to buy, make sure it's something that's going to be feeding you more money. There was a funny example where if a boy has a bicycle, well, save up his money, buy a second bicycle, and rent out that second one. It's relatively easy when you start to think about how you can actually make money with your money, when you start to expand your mind and to think in that way. So I would implore you to take a moment and realize that most people are not willing to live close to the belt for a few years while investing that would actually allow them freedom later on in their lives and the kind of money to actually change the world around them and to shape the world around them. Most people can't realize that, and the ones that do live their lives like most won't for a short period of time so that they can live their lives like most can't for the rest of their lives. So I still may be driving the same truck, wearing the same clothes, sitting on the same crappy couch, but I have a hell of a lot more money than I did 2 months ago. And by continuing to do what I'm doing with the assets and all that kinds of stuff, I will be in a extremely different position a few years from now. So take a moment, sit down, think about what you're spending your money on. Is it keeping you trapped, or is it going to set you free? Enjoy your night.